Hey guys, welcome back to the next episode of the Datsun build. So you're either watching this because you're following my Datsun restoration build, or you're getting ready to undercoat your own car. Either way, there's a few tools that I'm gonna be using for this episode. One is a strip disc. These are great. They get rid of paint, primer, rust, pretty much everything besides metal. For the primer, we're gonna be using a rust reformer. That's because this car is super old and there's gonna be rust that I'm not gonna be able to get to, so I wanna make sure we kill any of that rust that I missed. For the undercoating, we are using some pro grade undercoating. This stuff has mixed reviews. A lot of the times when people use this and it doesn't work well, it's because they are spraying it on top of rusty parts. This can't be sprayed on top of rusty parts. This needs to be sprayed on top of a freshly prepped and primed surface. Essentially, the only tools we're using in this episode are these three bad boys. So as the description says in the video, we are literally just gonna be clearing off all the old undercoating, all the rust, all the crud. There's like tons of built up dirt. We're gonna be getting rid of all of this stuff here, making it as clean down here as possible. And then we're gonna clean down the entire body to bare metal. We're gonna prime it and then we'll undercoat it. Here's a little glimpse of what it's gonna look like. This is a little test area I did. I sanded it down to bare metal and I sprayed primer and then the undercoating. Something that's pretty cool is that this undercoating has lasted pretty well. This is completely unrusted metal. I'm pretty sure this has, some sort of zinc coating on it, but that zinc coating has lasted over the years just being under this undercoating. You can see in places the undercoating has come off and that, ended up rusting, but a lot of these spots held it pretty well. One last thing before we start, I just want to show you guys this lower control arm bracket. So this bracket right here, this holds the lower control arm. The lower control arm goes from here to here, and then it goes all the way to the wheel. Now this piece in specific is cracked. There's two major cracks here and on the bottom side right here. I'm not sure if this is common with the Datsuns, but that's pretty scary. Imagine just driving around the road and your control arm brackets fail and the whole back of your car just hits the ground. That's nuts. Such a weird spot for it to fail. Let's start disassembling things and getting the car ready. So I just got the gas tank out and it's obviously really, really dirty. But check out the spider webs. No, thank you. Funny story, really quickly. In the beginning of this build, I was underneath the car and I noticed that there were black widows, like everywhere. That's not something you want to see when you're stuck under a car and you hate spiders like I do. That was a great day. Just the highlight of this build, highlight. Now the body is clear of everything and we can start sanding. So we're gonna start with the left side and just make our way across the entire body. All right, here's where we're at. So we basically have the rail and then the entire bottom of the body right there completely sanded down. This I haven't touched yet. And I'm gonna get to more of this. A lot of this I might leave because it's not cracking and the metal isn't exposed. Like when I was sanding this down, a lot of this was flaking. So this came off really quick, but areas like right here, this didn't come down quick. And underneath there was no rust. There was rust under here. There was no rust here or here. So I'm thinking of just kind of going through really quickly and just scuffing it up and seeing where the undercoating is loose, and wherever it's loose, going at it really tough and going out enough that, you know, I'm finding there's no more rust anymore. Because a lot of this, I mean, it just takes so long to sand down. Another thing I wanted to show you guys are the other tools that I'm using during this. So we have these wire brushes, these circular ones. They're really great for holes like this. And then the bigger ones are great for holes like this. Lots of wire brushes, wire wheel on a die grinder, another die grinder. This I'm using a few different attachments for. I have like sandpaper attachments, these quick change discs. And then for the really difficult areas, I have a Dremel with a circular sandpaper on it, and it's really great for those tiny little spots. For the most part though, I am using a strip disc on a angle grinder. That seems to be working amazingly. It took me 2 of these to get through this much. So if any of you are wondering how many strip discs you have to buy, 2 for this much. So I'm guessing I'm probably gonna use like probably 10 throughout the entire body. All right, let's get more of this sanded down. This is one of the dirtiest jobs I think I've ever done. My shop floor was completely clean before starting this episode, and now it is just thrashed. Everything is covered in like a layer of undercoating. Not only is the ground covered in undercoating, but like everything in the garage is covered in undercoating. Everything. All right, update on where we're at. So we have the wheel well, all of this down here, pretty much everything in there, and this wheel well done. So I know a lot of this doesn't look like it's done like this. There's still a lot of undercoating here. This undercoating is not bad. There's a lot of undercoating down here that hasn't cracked, and the metal underneath it's not rusting. So I'm actually gonna leave a lot of this undercoating on. A lot of these beams have a lot of surface rust, so I'm pretty much going over all of them and just getting it all off. Anywhere there's surface rust, I'm getting the surface rust off. Any like tricky, hard to reach spots, I'm gonna get some wire brushes in there. Another tool that's been working really great in all of this is this wire wheel. I have it attached to my angle grinder. It's rated for 10,000 RPMs, so it's good to be used on an angle grinder like this. A lot of these are only meant to be used on drills, and they will just kind of like explode if you use them on an angle grinder. So make sure if you're gonna use one of these that it's rated for a high RPM. But yeah, this has been really good. This is like destroying all of the dirt and buildup. Like it just rips through anything. Like completely just eradicates. If I was a little bit more organized, I would have given you guys all the tools that I'd be using throughout the episode in the beginning. But what kind of happens is like I start the episode, I start doing everything, and I'm like, oh man, this other tool would also work really good in this. And then, oh man, this other tool. So like by the end, I'm like using a ton of different tools. The majority though, I'm using that strip disc. That strip disc is just amazing. It is the fastest thing I've ever used in cutting through paint, rust. I mean, it's amazing. And if the bottom of the car was completely flat, I would only use the strip disc, but it's really big. It doesn't work great for all like the little tight crevices, which is why then I have to resort to other things. This is going really well though. I mean, it's taking a lot of time. I know this is like a lot of time lapses, but this is about, I'd say 7 hours of sanding and grinding. And I probably have another handful left. So we're gonna get back to sanding. I'm gonna skip through a lot of it just because I've pretty much shown you guys every bit and piece of sanding and all the tools I'm using. And at this point, I just don't want to bore you. So I'm gonna skip through little bits and pieces and then we'll get to the next part. And here is the masterpiece. Now the sanding is basically done. The process of sanding alone has taken me almost 3 full days just because there's so many nooks and crannies that rust gets into. And I still feel like I've missed parts, but it'll be fine. So now we're gonna take a break from the undercoating stuff and fix 2 metal spots that are broken. So the metal here is cracked and it's cracked around the weld. So I'm just gonna weld this back together. And then this exhaust mount over here, it's only held on by like 1 weld. and I could probably just take it off right now. Yep, so it was just barely held on. So I'm gonna clean all this up, clean this up, weld it back on.
Okay, I don't know why I'm using an angle grinder when I have a sandblaster. So let's sandblast it.
Now while the weld-through primer is curing, we're gonna clean the shop. The shop is super dirty and dusty, and we don't want that dust getting up into the paint when we're painting, so we're gonna clean it all. All right, now the garage is clean. And the weld-through primer has cured. I already painted the parts that aren't being welded. I forgot to record it though. My camera cut out there at the end, but both are welded up. Now that we got those welded up, we can move on to cleaning and prepping the metal for paint. What I mean by that is wiping it down with some sort of degreaser, like acetone, paint thinner, mineral spirits, etc. I'm gonna be using paint thinner at first and then acetone for a final wipe down. Now before we get into the paint thinner, we're actually gonna be using dish soap and water. This is because dish soap and water works really great at getting off grime and dirt really fast, versus paint thinner is kind of slow, especially when you're using it on a big surface like the bottom of a car. So water and dish soap and then paint thinner. I just wanted to show you guys why we wash with dish soap and water first. Because although the metal looks clean, it is far from it. Paint thinner would just never be able to get all this off by itself. Now that we've gone through almost 4 buckets of dish soap and water, we can move on to paint thinner. So we'll do a few passes with this, and then when we're done, we'll move on to acetone. So now the metal is super clean and ready for paint. I'm gonna put a bunch of cardboard on the bottom of my floor so I don't get any paint on the concrete. Now we got the cardboard laid and we are ready for primer. So I showed you guys this in the beginning, but I'm gonna show you again. This is the primer that I'm using. It's a rust reforming primer. It converts any little bit of rust that you miss to a paintable surface. Now let's finally get to painting. And now the primer's dry. It looks fantastic down here. Almost looks like a new car. Minus all the dents everywhere and the patches. So I'm not sure if you guys noticed this in the time lapse, but halfway through painting, I switched to using one of these. This is like an attachment for spray cans. It allows you to turn the spray can almost into like a spray gun. Because holding the spray cans and using my finger actually ended up going numb. And I kept pulling off the nozzle and pushing back down. So it was kind of like splattering paint. So I Googled that issue and tons of other people have dealt with that. And they recommended getting one of these. So this is a great little addition. It was like $5 and it just snaps right onto the top of your spray can. Just like that. It just kind of like opens up and goes right over the top of your spray can. So now it's time for the undercoating part. Now I showed you guys this before, but we're using pro grade undercoating. You can pick this up on Amazon. I think this stuff is around $5 a can. Okay, I had a little bit of an issue when using this. Word of advice, when you're spraying with these comfort grips, make sure the comfort grip doesn't turn, because if it turns like that, then it'll all just get caught in there and it will run down the side and drip all over your floor. So I haven't finished undercoating everything yet, but I wanted to show you guys the difference between undercoating and no undercoating. But you can clearly see how textured it is. And now after 24 hours of curing, the undercoating is completely dry. It looks pretty similar to how it looked with the primer, except as I showed you guys up close, it is very textured. I almost thought it was gonna be a little soft, but I guess not. Considering this was only $25 of undercoating, this came out pretty well. So this is the damage from this episode. We have 6 cans of primer, 6 cans of undercoating. They're both completely empty. 6 strip discs, 2 smaller strip discs, a bunch of other small quick change attachments, and 1 flap wheel. So thank you guys for watching. This is a huge step in this restoration. This is the first time we're actually putting in a new part into the car, and it's new paint, but it's still a new part, a new product. It feels really good to see it at this point. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions whatsoever, comment them below. I'll try to answer them. If not, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you on the next one.